Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Nina. Nina's bomb drop is August 9th of 2022, and she has a date of marriage of 2004. So far, it is a little too early, or maybe a lot too early, given that this is only September 2022, to know if she has a clinging boomerang or a low or high energy wallower or whatever contact type and energy type. But for now, she is thinking that she has a clinging boomerang who is a low energy wallower. It really takes a lot longer till we really can see what they're like throughout the crisis, as the initial changes of the first few months, the mixed messages and confusions stabilize a little bit. Although that doesn't mean they become stable. We'll just be able to see the patterns better. Nina says, my husband always found it difficult to talk about feelings. He's been kind to people, great dad, but too hardworking. In private, he's often critical and a perfectionist. It's easy to get him angry. In the last 6 months, he withdrew and became very grumpy. He's had problems in company, so I thought it was burnout. I think she means in his company. We were supposed to get a vacation, and then there was bomb drop. We tried therapy just to hear his anger and saying it's over. He no longer loves me. He doesn't have a year to spend in therapy. He's 45 and catching the last train to enjoy, and it says W, so to enjoy wife, it says enjoy/new W. Enjoy new wife, enjoy or have a new wife. I'm not sure what the W actually means there. He moved out quickly. It was all my fault. I took advantage of him in our little business we have together. I was going to dancing lessons and abandoning him. His claims. In the days after he moved out, he seemed happy. He wanted to hang out. Maybe we'll get together in some years. I sent an email to him and boom, he admitted that I'm basically right about everything. He should have talked. Maybe the bomb drop was a mistake. You're a wonderful person and a mom. You've been a great wife. I will help you with the wooden business again. He doesn't have an affair. Is this MLC or not? Oh, so far, yeah. What you're experiencing is cycling. You have been experiencing monster, and you've been experiencing it going back at least 6 months. There may have been a trigger at that point, or it may have been earlier. But this where he changed his mind, said, you've been great. We should have talked. It was a mistake for me to do that to you. And it's only been a month and a half since bomb drop. He's cycling. This happened to me constantly. Changed my mind. Sometimes he changed his mind Friday morning and then changed it again Friday afternoon and then again Friday night. That was what I called a rapid cycler. They can change every few weeks, days, months, minutes. It just depends on the person. So he is sending you mixed messages because of this. So he might have done all of that, and then a day later or in a couple weeks, he's going to do the opposite. No, it wasn't, or no, I'm not ready, or I'm sorry I said that, or whatever he comes up with to justify why he no longer feels the way he said he felt. This is normal. This also could be clinging boomerang. We'll see if he settles into clinging boomerang. It is clinging boomerang behavior, but a lot of them might display this behavior in the beginning. A lot of them also vanish if they're vanishers in the beginning. So it is more likely that he's trending toward that. But I personally don't say that they are a clinging boomerang until 6 to 12 months of that solid behavior. I say, yeah, they're trending that way. We'll look at it as though it's that and treat it that way. But I don't solidify it. Low energy wallower? Probably not. But I could be wrong. Because he doesn't have an affair? What evidence do you have that he doesn't? Now, it's hard to get evidence against a negative. Basically, he doesn't have an affair yet, or he's hiding it, or he might not. But most of them do have an affair. Even if for those of those who don't, they try to have an affair, or they have one that just peters out, but they don't get all the way into a full limerent object. If he's not having an affair now, the important thing I said before was yet. I want you to emotionally prepare yourself. If this is a midlife crisis, and so far it does sound that way, an affair is likely. That means it's more than 50%. I believe it's 70 to 75% on the data that I personally collected, where it's not official. I had a survey out years ago where the left behind spouses submitted the information and how many of them were having affairs and what type of affairs. And male MLCers, it was 70 to 75. I'd have to look again. Will have an affair, and I believe that is the type that is an affair, a limerent affair. There are other kinds. You can have flings, so you're still cheating. But when I think of an affair, I think of that it's a relationship rather than I went and had a fling, a one-night stand, friends with benefits. So I want you to prepare yourself that an affair is not imminent, because sure, some of them don't. Or some of them have an emotional affair, and I don't want to take away from that can still be limerent and painful and difficult to extract them from it. But there are differences. But most of them do have some sort of an affair. Most of the affairs are physical. So I want you to become prepared and understand what that means. I want you to know it's not your fault, even if he says it is. That doesn't mean you are perfect. So your job now is to heal. And part of healing is acknowledging and understanding where you weren't perfect and working on it. But also moving forward with your life. Forward doesn't mean separate. It just means life doesn't stop because something bad happened. It still goes on. Even when we wish it didn't sometimes. It still does. It's not your fault. I love that you were going to dancing lessons, even if he felt that you were abandoning him. And you also might look at it, were you? I mean, was neglect your sin? Because in my situation, it was. Neglect was my sin. I wasn't going out dancing. I was going into my office to work. And I was finishing up my master's. But even before I was finishing up my master's, I was in my office. Then I got my master's. And so I was in my office. And then I I was working on my master's. I was in my office. Then I got my master's. He kept telling me, I can't wait till you're done with your program. And I kept thinking, why? Why would it change? It's a writing program. I write. I go to my office to write. Go to my office as a student. I go to my office to write as, before I was a student because I was writing. I go to my office to write afterwards. But I was not paying enough attention to him. And my office door was always open. I had an office that was on the same level as the house. It was just one of the bedrooms back then. He could look in there. He'd see me. He could walk in. I wasn't that private about it. And he would sometimes say, hey, what are you doing? I'd say, I'm writing or something. Then 5 minutes later, what are you doing? In my head, at least, I'd say, the same thing you asked me 5 minutes ago. Sometimes he'd say, where are you? And I'm thinking, you just walked by the hallway and saw me in here. You know where I am. It was another way of saying, what are you doing? I'm in my office. Then 5 minutes later, where are you? I'm same place you asked me last time. And I don't know that I was saying it snarky, and I don't know that I always said it, but in my head I was like, what is he doing? Of course he knows where I am. Why is he nagging me like this? He felt neglected. So was it an issue or not? I mean, it wasn't like I was out going dancing and could invite him. He wouldn't have wanted to go anyway. But there could be things where you could invite him. And maybe sometimes somebody just wants the invite even though they're going to say no. You never know. But I think he thought he saw you out having fun and partying, going out dancing. Oh, she's in a midlife crisis. She's abandoning me. Also, there's a fear of abandonment that often comes with MLCers. And what people who have a fear of abandonment do is they figure, I'm going to do it first before it happens to me. So there's also a projection in there that he is projecting his actions onto you. So I want you to understand it's not all your fault. There are some things you might not have done right. And I do want you to find out what those are and acknowledge them. For yourself, for him, whatever, but at least for yourself. So that you don't go blaming yourself and thinking it's your fault. And then you're looking in the wrong direction. It's his crisis. His crisis is his problem. It's not your problem. Doesn't mean either of you were perfect. But it's not about you or your marriage, really. Is it MLC? It sounds like it. He has shown some grumpiness. He's a cranky codger, kind of. problems with his feelings. Now, that could change. It doesn't mean it will, but sometimes men in midlife become more overt with their feelings. Sometimes they don't want to and they just burst out. And that could be also where the anger is coming from, because he's trying to block it. Basically, I want you to prepare for what's ahead. I want you to make sure that you've gone through Understanding Midlife Crisis, if you can, the free course. Understand what this means for you in your life. Okay? And prepare for the possibility of an affair. Understand it. Don't talk to him about it at all. For one thing, I don't want you doing any accusations when it hasn't happened. I haven't done that. Why is she accusing me of it? That could just manifest anyway. Well, she already thinks I'm doing it. I might as well. You don't share this stuff with him. Okay? So, I hope this is helpful. And I will see everybody in the next question.